All right, so we're at what is called Hahn Woods. So it looks like it's affiliated with Emory University. And the app I'm using, which is a All Trails app, they call this the Lullwater Loop. There are just some guidelines on the rules based on Emory's use of the park. It's right off of Emory's campus, so Emory University is right up this hill from us. Back down would be more residential areas, and already great signage right here. So that's the upper trail, and that must take us down to the lower trail. It's very interesting. So here we go. It's a little history about the site. There was a mill here. Okay, this is great. So upper trail, 1/10 of a mile, lower trail, 1/4 of a mile from here. And a great illustrated map to let us know where we are. This one in the app that I'm using indicates that it's about looks like we should be able to get about 3 miles in on this trail. So you can see they're marking lower trail. It's about a 1/4 of a mile, 15-20 minute walk. Upper trail, 1/10 of a mile, 5 to 7 minute walk. And there must be some form of connector. Otherwise, this will be a really quick walk for today. So let's take a look at the map. Looks like for us to take the upper trail, connect down to the lower trail, which will then take us around to a much larger loop. So there's a nice large connector, which is most likely what gets us the 3 miles. It's late afternoon. See the sun still high in the sky, so great time for us. But it is cold today. You can see there's a good deal of breeze. As you can see, those trees moving in the distance. So we definitely have to be prepared. I do have I'll put them on the right way, my gloves. So as I walk, I can be protected. But you can see from this green area right here, there's looks like a bench over on the side. So it's a good place to kind of break away if you're at Emory's campus and you just want to get away, or out here in this general vicinity. Great place to come and reconnect with nature. And there is the waterway down below. So we'll just go ahead and start with this upper trail and see where it leads us. Yeah, trail conditions are good. A lot of leaves. We're seeing that all around on all trails because it is technically winter. And I'm just adjusting my strap. Oh wow. So that breeze is definitely picking up now. You can see the trail below, so I wonder if that is in fact the lower trail, because this appears to be nothing more than a loop. So let's check this out. We're gonna determine where we are, see if there's more to it or not. Otherwise, I've just completed the loop. There is more. So according to this, we just looped around from where we started. Good parking as well. So you get here, looks like if you get here, good time, you can get a good parking spot in the oval area that loops you back out onto the roadway. But this one's going to wind around that grass area that I talked about. And then we will go, it's like we wind around and then find our way down to the river level. Oh, it's a little house. Very creative. Yeah, on these trails, it's very interesting to see what you can find. People are very creative and leave great gifts for others to see. So from the parking lot, we could have come directly over here and then just traveled straight down to this trail point. That part of the upper trail, I guess, could serve as a good warm-up as we move on. So you see the sun in this position. You see it's later in the afternoon. And just a quick check. Yep, we're all set later in the afternoon. So we just want to keep an eye on the time and the sunset, because if you think it's cold now, wait till that sun goes down. Ah, nice little bench. Steps, or you can cut down the pathway. More steps, or we're going to take the natural pathway. Huh, that's interesting. So here we are at a fork in the trail. Okay, so apparently this kind of leads up here, and that's what I could see going around. But according to this, oh, and it'll connect like a shortcut. So if we want to cut through, you see, looks like some kind of grill right up top there. We're going to follow the marked trail on this one, and then just continue around to the side. Takes us by the water. So if we want to avoid the water, we would have taken that path that way. To get to the waterfront, we come down this way. Looks like in times of a lot of rain, you may not want to come here. And you can see the waterway. What may have been a crossing at one point from one side to the other. Water's not moving a whole lot, but it is traveling over to the left and around. You can see it trickling coming down this way. Do have an obstruction on the trail. It's like a downed tree. May have come from the water side up here. And here's the connector. So we saw that last split. We had the option of going straight or taking that left. You can see kind of that grate that's up here where we would have connected. And they have an overlook for the river or creek. Pretty good, nice metal, well maintained. Probably nice to sit out here in the spring, summer, even fall. After it's rained and see the water flowing. This trail is definitely loaded with great views, and this is where I was talking about, where you can see the water kind of picking up in volume as it's coming down and coming over the rocks. I did note that it was quite clean on this trail. It's like an old box, high voltage box. All right, so we got another trail ahead. We'll do a quick check. I think we're going to continue on to the left, which should keep us on the trail. Yeah, it does. So this trail provides a couple different options. If we go to the right, it kind of cuts off this loop that we'll go around to get back to the other side. So great options on the trail in case you wanted to just move through it a little more expeditiously. But as it's our first time, as I always do when I get to a new trail I haven't been on before, just go check it out, see what it has to offer. And it is maintained, so that tree, larger one down, they cut it into sections so we can get through. See some buildings up at the top of the hill over there. I think that might be a part of the university. Oh wow, it's right in the middle of the trail. Okay, so over to the right, that takes us up to the parking lot. We're continuing straight as we go on this lower trail. Kind of uneven pavement, probably from roots of trees, breaking it up. We'll walk right underneath the roadway. Little graffiti, art. Some kind of a probably stormwater runoff. Oh, there are falls. So one waterfall on this trail. You can see it a little more clear. Just head right over here. Looks like over here to the right is another entrance to the trail, so we didn't park and walk around. You could come directly in. We're gonna go this way. We're just taking a detour to the left so we can take another look at the waterfall. What was an old bridge structure, highly do not attempt to cross this. You can see the rust in all kinds of areas. Surprised they don't have this roped off, mapped off. It's a great fall. Love the sounds. Another way to see it, less obstructions. And if you're brave, you can actually walk right down, which we may go ahead and do. Oh, wow. There's the waterfall. I guess you can kind of sit here and just enjoy the sound. All right, back onto the trail. That is an interesting sign. Are we going up and around? Or are those like pipeline signs? All right, so our path continues along the waterfront. Yeah, those are pipeline signs. So that pathway up is where the gas pipeline runs. See this red, what I guess used to be a part of a pipe. It's open on that end. But this is where the trail leads, so we'll stay on trail. Plus there's a fence up there on the right. So the kind of hike would be to that fence line, and then you're coming right back down. But great day. It's clear, limited clouds, nice and cold. Right before it got out, indicated it was just above freezing, so 33, but that was before the wind chill. So today I've definitely layered up. Top I have about 4 layers, double layer for my pants and my warm hiking socks, and using 3/4 hiking boots today because I didn't know what to expect on the trail. You can see parts of Emory right over to the right, Emory University. Down tree created a natural dam. Fortunately, you can see all the debris that it captured along the way. But it's a good thing it's all collected and compiled there. You probably could clean that up easily. It would make for a great project. Creek cleanup. So as you can tell from this part of the trail, this is going to be an out and back trailway. We'll get to another loop once we get through this area, but we're going to be coming back this way. Okay, so we can see, checking my distance, about 0.82 miles into this hike. It's supposed to be 3.2, so we're 8.2 here, the 8.2 back, so that's 1.6 right there. So we should be coming up on that loop pretty soon. I'm checking the opposite side of the creek. See if there's a pathway back on that side, but I don't see it. It's like the creek branches off, comes in from two directions. Definitely understand why Emory has this as a part of the university, because you can see right over to our left or right all of the university buildings and parking lot. Trail goes this way to the left and up to the right. Put the trees down, we'll take the upper path. You can see the low levels in the river. A little sand bar right in the middle. I do see signs on the opposite side, so that might be another path. On that side. Okay. Kind of loops around that way. Let's do a check. Okay, so there is a path, and it looks like a trail that will lead up that way. It kind of loop back around on the top of that hill as well. No connector to the other side outside of going on this direct path. I guess if there were high water, you just go up there and cross instead of crossing down here. But in low water, we can keep it moving. A lot of stormwater drains as well. For sewer pipes. There's a bridge across the top. So that's how we get to that side, which appears to be a whole nother parkway. Adds a whole nother layer to this adventure. take a look. It's a great overhead bridge. Crosses the stream, brings you to the other side, and that's the other side of campus as well. As you can see some buildings through the trees. Right over there to the left, right by this wall, old building. So I wonder if that was a part of an old mill before all this was Emory. Maybe even a part of Emory. Now we're getting some trailblazers. Metal, silver metal with the gold ring. This looks like a hangout spot. A little low-lying area. Sit out here and just listen to the falls. Alright, let's check this map quickly to determine where we're going. Okay, there are two pathways. This is very interesting. So at some point there must be a crossing, because there's no longer a crossing here. Oh, on the trail we were just on, there's no bikes either. So it probably was a bridge across here over the top before you had the falls to get you from one side to the other. According to this, we're going up. It was this way. So straight ahead takes you to Candler Lake. Up here is private. You can see dogs, huh? How you doing? So for some reason, it's still indicating that we're crossing, but I think it's just off, and this is the new way that we loop around the lake and come back. Now, All Trails does indicate one section may be closed, so we'll take a look, see what we see. Over to our left, you can see the parking garage. I think that's the main one of the main ones on campus. Right now we're 1.34 miles in. It's a great hike. Yeah, some areas closed off, maybe for regrowth. It's a relatively level hike, making it great for those who are just getting started out. And you're close enough to university, you know, there's more populated areas around you, so you're not as remote. But this is a trail you definitely want to take earlier in the day before it gets too dark. You may benefit from some lights over to the left from the campus or maybe up top, but with this tree canopy, this quickly can become completely dark rapidly. So two paths. One we could take up the stairs. We're just going to continue to climb the hills. And let's take a look and see where we are. Okay, so if we were to hit this left, that would take us to a dead end right at Claremont Drive. That's the road you can see in the distance. The path is this way, so we'll continue along the path back around the lake and see where we go. See what we can see. As you can see, there are some people traveling out on this trail. Looks like a great connector from one part of the campus over to the next. Good place to go exercise as well. And right over here to our right is the lake. Oh, this is great. There is an Emory police box right here in case you have an emergency. All these boxes are identified. And you can see leash laws are in effect out here. And each of the boxes would have a number. So this one's 7029. That's what you need to let them know if it's not already marked, so they would know to come get you. So this trail connects in with another trailway that will lead you around campus, kind of through campus, through Parkway. It's another great area to tackle on another day. We'll see where this leads. So a great way to see the area surrounding and parts of Emory walking the trail. So we've got a pond over here to the left. And then the lake over here to our right. It looks like there is some kind of a trickle over from the pond when it fills to feed into the lake, which will keep that water moving out of the pond. Right now we're 1.62 miles in. So, second person I've seen out with their pet. Well, this looks like concrete. It's actually compacted dirt with a little gravel. Which makes it great for hiking. It's very firm. More signs about no bikes. Definitely feel the wind on this side. So another great view. Candler Lake over here. To the right. Looks like the loop's still open. It's the person we saw earlier today. Definitely a lot more activity on this side. We're definitely closer in on campus. And 1.83 miles. At this point, and directly in front of us, geese. You can see more trailways just off to the left of us, kind of winding through the hills over there, back to the other side of campus, in a large open space. All right, so this part does transition from natural trail over to a paved trail, but great facilities, trash cans, cleanup bags for people with their pets. And it's very clean over here. Access way into the lake. Great spot to kind of just hang out. And the sun's a little bit warmer. Here's some conversations from some of the students. It looks like the entire return section back to the path we started on around the lake. Paved. But you gotta about 3/4 of it appear to be unpaved, and this remainder, small section, paved. So not bad. Future with the whole sections that are just on paved trails. As we start off the year, our preference is natural trails. Oh, you can see a small little waterfall here. And some mallard ducks. All right. Another Emory police sign. So call for help here. This one also would have a number listed, and this number is 7030. So see, main connected to the path parkway. To the right is where we went before. Directly in front of us is the waterfall. And then we'll just take this back on in. I think from this point we won't need the map, as this is the in and out I discussed before. Did have that option to go up the hill, to go across to the other side of campus. There's another series of trails over there that we could take a look into in the future. So another one of those hidden gems right here in the city. for you to try out on your own. Just remember, like any physical activity that you get into, especially if you've not been active for a while, check in with your physician. Make sure you're clear for physical exertion. They can give you some guidelines as to how much and how hard you should push yourself, but always pace yourself. That's why we show a wide variety of trail offerings, from those that are miles, like this one, to those that are, half a mile or so. So you can get started in one area, especially on the smaller trails, let you feel the trail, how it feels to you, whether or not trails really are calling you. They also let you test your gear, in particular your footwear, because it becomes very important to have the right footwear in order to tackle these trails. So we're taking that straight path across. Again, if the water were heavy here, over to the left are some areas that are closer to the stream. So the two sides are closer, so it makes it easier to cross. But again, make sure you check the weather before you head out on your hike. Very important to do so. And depending on the app that you use, some will even tell you the trail conditions as last calculated, which are most likely contributions from hikers like myself and others who are out here who contribute to let you know conditions of the trail: muddy, rocky, gravel, paved, and also obstructions like these downed trees, and then the alternatives. All right, that was pretty quick. Just little rolling inclines to take us out. And today I didn't bring poles, so I'm going to be using the core, those legs, to power through. Like out and back trails. Helps you get familiar with the trailway. Find some landmarks for yourself along the trail to gauge the distance you have back to the start later when you come back, how far you're into the hike without having to look at your devices. And you use natural landmarks, or in this trail, because we have those buildings to the left, you can use the buildings. So we've been out for a total of All right, we're resuming here. As right before the break, we were taking a look. I was taking a look at the amount of time. I've been out about 51 minutes, 2.49 miles total out of the 3.2 estimated from the mapping tool that I use. One thing I always have to check when you're out here are your battery levels, especially when I'm out on the new trail and recording, to make sure I have enough battery to go out and in. It's not bad. If it's 3.2 miles, I made it 2.9 before the battery life was over. And I'm using more battery and more of my memory as I'm recording at a higher rate. So I shoot 4K when I'm out to give you more detail around the hike and the experience of the hike. So we should be almost back at this point, 0.3 miles from that last point. Split open tree. It's a good landmark to remember. And then from one of our previous hikes, we learned that bees would find their way into trees like that so they could have an active hive. We learned a lot on the trail. A lot to experience out here. Even with the sounds from the building systems, still very peaceful out on the trail. The sun's sitting a little lower. We keep an eye on the amount of time we're out and the amount of time it takes on this trail, because it is winter, so it gets darker much earlier. And the temperatures are colder today, but they will drop overnight. So something you keep in mind as you start off on your hike, and you can evaluate based on your pace. Is this something that I can complete, or am I willing to only go to a certain point and then turn back around? And you can see what I'm saying and how cold it is. You can see some of that reflection, and that is actually ice. And we are outside of Atlanta with ice on the ground, just based on how cold it was overnight, and it is right now with that wind chill. And on your hikes, it's great to be prepared. So if you're not really certain how many layers you need, you just layer all the way up to your maximum level. You get warm, especially if you carry a pack like I do. You can always layer down so that you can still remain warm and comfortable on your hike. And it's much better to do that than not have enough and only realize it after you're a mile or more into your hike. We can see some others out on the trail. Some of the areas that we were just in, right by the waterfall. See some people right on the edge, right by the waterfall. Another dog walker. So definitely an active area over here. There's another quick shortcut path out. Ah.
He's wagging his nose. He's wagging his nose. Take it easy.
Take care. Okay. So definitely see that there when we started the trail, leash laws were in effect. Some people follow the guidelines, others don't. Here are our steps out. Just remember, it's been cold and icy, so you can see some ice forming on the stairs. It's a nice shaded area over here, so maybe a little bit harder to see. But this is Lullwater Loop Trail. More ice. And it definitely is worth taking the time to come out, and it's much more than what you see on this one map. So Hahn Woods, Lullwater Trail. Take some time and get outside, get amongst the trees and the nature. Just breathe. Enjoy. Reset. TEMOJA.